CSR strategy is a roadmap for moving ahead on CSR issues. It sets the organization's direction and scope over the long run with regard to CSR, allowing the organizations to be successful by using its resources within its unique environment to meet stakeholders' expectations. In this lesson, we cover the development of a CSR strategy. It follows from the previous slide that after studying this lesson, we would be able to understand steps in designing CSR strategy, how to do an assessment, and how to develop a CSR strategy. A good CSR strategy identifies the overall direction about where the organization wishes to go in its CSR work. A basic approach for integrating CSR as a business strategy. Specific priority areas and immediate next steps. The first step for designing CSR strategy starts with assessment of the organization. It is important to gather and examine relevant information about the products, services, decision-making process, and activities to determine accurately where the organization is now with respect to CSR activity and to locate its pressure points for CSR action. A proper CSR assessment should provide an understanding of the organization's value and ethics, the internal and external drivers motivating the organization to undertake a more systematic approach to CSR. The key CSR issues that are affecting or could affect the organization. Key stakeholders who are or who need to be engaged. The current corporate decision-making structure and its strength and inadequacies in terms of implementing a more integrated CSR approach. The human resource and budgetary implication of such an approach. And existing CSR-related initiatives. A four-stage CSR assessment process requires to assemble a CSR leadership team, develop a working definition of CSR, review corporate documents, processes and activities, and identify and engage key stakeholders. A CSR leadership team would include representatives from the board of directors and top management or owners, as well as key employees, volunteers from various units within the organization that need to be involved in CSR issues. Other representatives could also be assembled as per the requirement of the organization. The first task of the leadership team is to develop a working definition of the CSR for the organization. This will become the foundation for the rest of the assessment. With a working CSR definition and an initial understanding of the motivations behind the organization's interest in CSR, the team should then review key corporate documents, processes and activities for actual and potential CSR implications. And the last step of assessment process is to identify and engage key stakeholders in the strategy development. Steps to develop a CSR strategy include developing support with senior management and employees, researching about what others are doing. Although it is possible for the CSR team, working with other members of the organization, to develop a CSR approach entirely on its own, there is considerable value in drawing on the experience and expertise of others. Three useful sources of information to assist the organization in this regard are contacting industry associations like CII, FICCI, Associated Chamber of Commerce, and CSR specialist organizations like Center for Social Market, CSR Wire, and so on. Next step is to prepare a matrix of proposed CSR action. The CSR team can plot current and possible CSR activities, processes, products, and impacts on the matrix. Cross-reference them against the organization's current activities and structure to see how well they fit. After that, the CSR team develops option for proceeding and the business case for them. Two options for proceeding at this point are either to take an incremental approach to CSR or to decide on a more comprehensive change in direction. The CSR team, in consensus with the senior management, should take an informal decision on how the organization should proceed. It is important to determine the organization's general direction, approach, and focus area with regards to CSR. CSR decisions will necessitate setting priorities. Now let us have a look at the basic framework for designing CSR policies and strategy. The strategy involves making company information that includes the general information regarding the company, the economic impact, mission statement, core values, stakeholder consultation, etc. The CSR strategy revolving around workplace includes those regarding employees, so as to maintain staff retention, garner motivated staff, become employer of choice, ensure promotion of good working conditions and practices, and reduce accidents. CSR regarding marketplace involves customer satisfaction, customer retention, safety and quality, after sales, consumer education, etc. For better understanding of customer views, meet procurement criteria, processes for accepting and measuring complaints, loyalty schemes to retain customers, helping customers after sales, and so on. CSR regarding marketplace also covers suppliers and supply chain in order to CSR through the supply chain, building relationships, be seen as credible and reputable business, help local suppliers and build community support, ensure better value on contracts due to honoring payment terms, and train partners on CSR practice and transparency. CSR strategy concerning community focuses on measuring the value of support in cash as well as in kind, and bring attention on key partners and form long-term relationships. It also ensures good PR, develops new skill for employees, spreads awareness regarding recruitment, and establishes reputation as a good employer. CSR strategy involving environment is given quite a high priority. It involves issues regarding waste and water, and results in issues like reduced landfill costs, compliance for suppliers and customers, reduced costs and impact on environment and natural resources. Environmental strategy is also spanned from energy, materials, health and safety to transport in order to analyze usage patterns, information for customers and suppliers, reduce accidents at workplace, monitor carbon footprints, produce statistics for suppliers and customers, etc. Let us now check our progress by finding out whether the statement given are right or wrong. A good CSR strategy identifies priority areas and steps to be taken. A good CSR strategy identifies priority areas and steps to be taken. Assessment of business assessment should succeed strategy designing. Assessment of business assessment should succeed strategy designing. Assessment of business aspects should not ignore organizational values and culture. Assessment of business aspects should not ignore organizational values and culture. Top management executives need not be in CSR team. Top management executives need not be in CSR team. Companies can either adopt incremental approach or a comprehensive approach to CSR. Companies can either adopt incremental approach or a comprehensive approach to CSR. Now let us cross-check our answers. A good CSR strategy identifies priority areas and steps to be taken. This statement is right. Assessment of business assessment should succeed strategy designing. This statement is wrong. Assessment of business aspects should not ignore organizational values and cultures. That is right. Top management executives need not be in the CSR team. That is again right. Companies can either adopt incremental approach or a comprehensive approach to CSR. This one again is right. Before we finish, let us revise the lesson in brief. For developing long-term corporate sustainability, it is essential that a company designs a thorough CSR policy and strategy. Clarity about direct strategic fit and benefits to business can go a long way in integrating CSR philosophy in business. It is important to follow sequential steps and solicit top management support as well as other stakeholders in designing CSR strategies. As CSR initiatives have resource implication, they should be reviewed with rigor and substance, similar to how normal financial and investment decisions are reviewed. A casual approach could jeopardize the credibility of the CSR strategy as well as its implementation. Thank you.